Hi, hello, and welcome to A Little Bit of Monica. This is quite possibly one of the most stressful days of my life when it comes to books. And that is because I spent today going through all of my books, all of my shelves, and I pulled out all of the books that I have yet to read. Because one of my main goals for 2025 is to read through my owned TBR. I made the realization last year that I was accumulating books far faster than I was ever able to turn them around, and while I am still going to be accumulating books slowly throughout the new year, I want to make a conscious effort to be reading through the books that I already have so that the turnaround is looking a little bit better, because the number of books that I need to read, it's shocking. Honestly, it shouldn't be, because in looking at my shelves, I knew what I was getting into, but when I saw the total number of books, I was alarmed, okay? And I'm a little bit stressed for how this year is going to go, because I'll just give you a little bit of a hint. I have more books on my owned TBR than I read last year. So the odds of me getting through all of these books, it's pretty much impossible. It's not going to happen, and I'm okay with that, but I do want to be shrinking this number down because there are other books that I'm going to be acquiring throughout the year. So I have broken this down in the best way that I think I could, and I have a system for how I'm going to be selecting the books that I read throughout the year. I went bookcase by bookcase, so I have 4 large Florida not quite ceiling bookcases, and they are kind of organized by genre. I have a romance shelf over here, I have 2 fantasy shelves behind me, and then one over here that is horror and thriller. So here's what I did. I already went through, and I'm going to show you very, very, very quickly, as in like here and gone. I'm going to show you every single book that I have here, but I basically took little slips of paper and wrote the name of every single book that I have not read yet that I own, and I put them kind of by shelf or by bookcase, and yeah, I'm going to be pulling from it throughout the year. And as I do that, I have this little TBR jar, which I was going to use as the collection of all of them to pull from, but instead, as I read them, I'm going to drop the little slips of paper into the slot in the top of the jar so that I can see as the year goes on how many books I am reading and how my progress is going by seeing how quickly I fill the jar. This is hopefully going to help me feel motivated by seeing a lack of progress and kicking myself into high gear, or by being really just proud of how quickly I can go through it. So without further ado, I don't want to waste any more time because this is going to take forever. When I say rapid fire, I mean here and gone. Let's get started with the romance books that I took off of my shelves already. We have my special editions, I Did Something Bad by P.A. Mothetwar. We have Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. The Dead Guy Next Door by Lucy Score. The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. And Devil in the Deep Blue Sea by Stacey Marie Brown. This is actually a duology, so this actually has both books, Silver Tongue Devil and Devil in Boots, inside it. So 2 books for one, good for me. Next is Wild Love and Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, and I am getting the 3rd book when it comes out this year, so that's gonna add on to that. We also have Done and Dusted, Swift and Saddled, and Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. I'm also going to be getting the 4th book in that series this year, so we're going to be adding to that collection as well. And then we have the Well Met series. I've already read book 1, but I have Well Played, Well Matched, and Well Traveled to add to my list for this year. Next are all standalones. We have Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly. We have How You Get the Girl, also by Anita Kelly. A Season for Second Chances by Jenny Bayliss. While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. Love and Olives by Jenna Evans Welch. And Head Over Heels by Hannah Orenstein. Christina Lauren's The Unhoneymooners. Play For Me by Libby Hubscher. A Cat Cafe Christmas by Cody Gary. To Have and to Heist by Sarah Desai. The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. With or Without You by Eric Smith. Another Christina Lauren, The Soulmate Equation. And then a whole collection of Book of the Month romances. The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. Is She Really Going Out With Him by Sophie Cousins. P.S. I Hate You by Lauren Connolly. Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. And finally, The Second Chance Year by Melissa Weisner. That is all of my romance books. I have 33 books from my romance bookcase, all in this little jar that I'm going to be keeping on the shelf, and I can pull from this as the year goes on to help me figure out what books are going to be up next on my list. Now, here's a question that I asked myself before when I was putting this all together. What if I read a book before I end up pulling the tab of paper from the jar? And if that's the case, then when I do eventually pull the tab from the jar, I will just automatically put it in the TBR jar to say that I already read it, and by the end of the year, I'll be able to to know which ones I haven't read once I go through and figure out which ones are left. So I am not going to try to rifle through and find the ones that I've already read as I go. But when they get selected, if I've already read it, that's just better off for me. Next up, I have my fantasy and romantasy shelf. That's the one that's right behind me. And there were a lot on here as well. I actually think I got my numbers mixed up earlier. I had 40 books on my romance shelf and I have 33 on this bookcase right behind me. Let's just go ahead and get started because this is gonna take a while. Next up is A Court This Cruel and Lovely by Stacia Stark. The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. That is book 3 in the series. Next, I have both Spark of the Everflame and Glow of the Everflame because I can't just read books in a series before I get the next one. Next is The Study of Magic, The Study of Fire, and Up to the Challenge, all by Maria V. Snyder. Next is another series that I have at least read book 1, but none of the rest. So I have A Torch Against the Night, and A Reaper at the Gates, and A Sky Beyond the Storm by Saba Tahir, and then I also have Air by Saba Tahir. So all of those have to go on the list as well. Next is The Half King by Melissa Landers, The Last One by Rachel Housel Hall, Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb, Flame and Sparrow by S.M. Gaither, Quicksilver by Callie Hart, The Phoenix King by Aparna Verma, Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff, and A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Now, we get to the reason that this actual shelf behind me is completely empty. It's because I have all of my special editions, and it's a really tall stack. But these are all the book box editions that I have and have yet to read. First is Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel, To Cage a God by Elizabeth May, The Principle of Moments by Esme Jacami Pearson, Of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen, The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean, Hamajang Luck by Makana Yamamoto, The Last Hour Between Worlds by Melissa Caruso, An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson, Sorcery and Small Magics by Megha Ducey, For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga, The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong, The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle, The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart, and finally, The Girl with No Reflection by Keisha Chow. Oh gosh. The fact that this is not even like halfway over, like I still have 2 whole bookcases to go through. I am in trouble, okay? We are 73 books into my TBR. I have regrets. No, I don't. I don't have any regrets. I'm glad I have these books, but it's going to take so long to get through them all. Next, we have my 3rd bookcase over here. This is also fantasy, so we have a lot more fantasy to go. First up is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faizal, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, A Darker Shade of Magic, also by V.E. Schwab, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson, She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and Shauna Maguire's Middle Game. Next is Red Rising and Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. Again, I need to stop getting sequels before I have read the first one, but I have the entire Twilight series and I still haven't read these yet, so all 5 of those are going on. That's gonna be great. Next is The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller, Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson, The Cruel Prince, The Stolen Heir, and Book of Night by Holly Black, Caraval by Stephanie Garber, A Broken Blade, A Shadow Crown, and A Vicious Game by Melissa Blair, Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, Masters of Death by Olivia Blake, and Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne. Next is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, Daughter of the Pirate King and Vengeance of the Pirate Queen, both by Trisha Levenseller, Nightbane and Skyshade by Alex Astor, Susanna Clark's Piranesi, Monstrous Nights by Genevieve Damova, Masquerade by Oo Sangiyomi, and In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. And these last ones somehow ended up on the bottom shelf down here, and they're just kind of a conglomeration of a lot of things. So The Guilt Trip by Sandy Jones, And There He Kept Her by Joshua Moling, Sadie by Courtney Summers, The Thursday Murder Club and The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman, The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis, Jungle by Yossi Ginsburg, Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson, Know My Name by Chanel Miller, Pictures of You by Emma Gray, and The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. Okay, well, That is 3 of the 4 shelves. Are we ready to just jump right into the 4th one? I think so. But not before I remember to show you my little dish full of all 51 of these books. So this is my biggest shelf yet, and we still have some more to go. Let's go into the horror and thriller books. We are going to start off with the thriller and sci-fi. I have them kind of combined on my shelves. So we're going to do those. There are 35 of these total. So first up is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, Sea of Tranquility, also by Emily St. John Mandel, This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub, Wrath by Sharon Molem and Daniel Kraus, The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, Recursion by Blake Crouch, The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi, Starter Villain, also by John Scalzi, and Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. Next is Ruth Ware's 0 Days and The Turn of the Key. Then by Lisa Jewell, I have The Night She Disappeared and The Family Upstairs. Then I have 2 Alex Michaelides, The Fury and The Maidens, that I need to read. I also have 2 Riley Sagers, The House Across the Lake and Home Before Dark. Then I have You Know What You Did by KT Nguyen, S.A. Cosby's All the Sinners Bleed, Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose, and Worst Case Scenario by TJ Newman. Then we have Kilman Creek by Rachel Kane, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, The Book of M by Peng Shepard, Something in the Water by Catherine Stedman, The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer, The Last Word by Taylor Adams, What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall, How to Survive Your Murder by Daniel Valentine, A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh, and Dark Corners by Megan Golden. But wait, I still have my horrors to go through. First, The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty, The Spite House by Johnny Compton, and Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. Then we have The Mist and Firestarter, both by Stephen King. We have a couple of Darcy Coates. First I have Gallows Hill, then I have The Haunting of Blackwood House, and Voices in the Snow and Secrets in the Dark, the Black Winter series. Next is American Rapture by CJ Lead, Memorials by Richard Chismar, The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, The Girl from Raw Blood and Little Eve by Katrina Ward, Lone Women by Victor Laval, Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Starling, Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano, My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones, House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, that one is just intimidating, Edenville by Sam Rebelane, Pinata by Leopoldo Gout, and finally, Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang. I think that just about does it. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. This was a total of 183 books, and I really don't even know what to do with that information. I don't know how the heck I'm supposed to read all of these. I don't know why I convinced myself that I need to buy more books. I mean, I know why, but like, I have so many to read. The good news is I have such a variety that there will never be a time where I don't have a book that I can be reading, and that's really exciting to me. That's kind of how I want it to be, but I have a lot of work to do this year to be able to get all of these books done and to really feel like I'm finally making my way through my own TBR. So I have lots of little jars full of slips of paper that are going to help me to really get through this, and this TBR jar, it needs to be full by the end of the year. Like, honestly, it needs to be full and overflowing. I will keep you updated as I go. I will do a mid-year check-in to see just how much progress I'm making by the middle of the year, and then by the end of the year, we are going to see where I make it. I'm really hoping for some good results here because I do want to be turning these books around. The reason I have them is because I want to read them, because I think I'm going to like them and I want to be able to enjoy them. So here's to hoping that I can read as many of these 183 books as I can by the end of 2025, and I feel very confident that I'm going to make some good progress, even if I don't get through all 183, because that would be a miracle. I didn't even read 183 books last year, and I have some really chunky books to get through this time, so we're probably gonna not make it to quite 172 like last year, but I'm really hoping to make some good progress. If you saw any books here that I briefly showed that you have read and you want to encourage me to read them, please do that. I am so nervous to have so many books to get through, but I want to be excited for all of them, so if you have any thoughts, please let me know. If you are also planning to read one of these this year, I would also love to know that, because this is such a huge endeavor to be taking on. Or if you're also doing an owned TBR, let me know how many books you have and how many you need to get through. Let's encourage each other to get through. I just can't believe that I have so many books. I can't believe how high the number got. Like, as I was counting, I was like, golly, this is insane. And here we are. So 183 books by the end of the year. We will see what I can do. But for now, I want to thank you for watching this video, for supporting me. If you want to see how I make it through my own TBR, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can follow along with my journey throughout the year. Thank you so much for being here, for watching this video, and I really hope that I will see you in the next one. Bye!